Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Sara English. I'm Sarah, and I'm really happy you are here with us today.
And I'm Mike. It's great to have you with us again. Wherever you are listening from, we hope you can relax, slow down, and enjoy this English conversation.
Today we have a simple but very useful topic. We are going to talk about only 5 tips that can help you learn English faster, and more importantly, learn it in a way that you can actually use in your daily life.
Yes, only 5 tips. We are not going to give you a huge list of things to remember. Sometimes learners see 20 or 30 tips online, and instead of feeling motivated, they feel confused.
Exactly. You may save the video, write down all the advice, and then think, okay, I have so many things to do. A few days later, you may stop because it feels like too much work.
So today, we want to keep things simple. 5 useful habits can be much better than 20 habits that you never practice.
And remember, this episode is for English learners around the B1 to B2 level. We will use natural English, but we will keep the conversation clear and easy to follow.
You also do not need to understand every single word. If you miss a sentence, stay relaxed and continue listening. Your goal is not perfect understanding. Your goal is to keep your brain connected to English.
That is a very important idea. Many learners stop listening when they hear one word they do not know.
Yes, they hear a new word and immediately think, what does that mean? Then they stop paying attention to the rest of the conversation.
Instead, try to understand the general meaning. Sometimes the next sentence gives you enough information to understand the word.
And sometimes you do not need to understand it at all. Native speakers also hear words they do not know sometimes. They simply continue listening.
Before we talk about the 5 tips, I want you to think about your own English journey. How long have you been learning English?
Maybe you started a few months ago. Maybe you have studied English for several years.
And maybe you know a lot of grammar and vocabulary, but speaking still feels difficult.
That's actually very common. You can understand English when you read a sentence, but when someone asks you a simple question, suddenly your mind becomes empty.
Yes, you know the words, but they seem to disappear exactly when you need them. This usually happens because knowing English and using English are 2 different skills.
You can know a grammar rule without being able to use it naturally in conversation.
You can recognize hundreds of words without being able to say them quickly.
And you can understand a podcast without feeling confident enough to speak with another person.
So the first thing we need to understand is that learning English faster does not mean studying harder every single day.
It means studying in a smarter and more active way.
And that brings us to our first tip. Tip number 1 is simple. Use English every day.
Every day? Even when someone is busy?
Yes, but every day does not mean studying for 3 hours. It could mean 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or even a few minutes when you have free time.
I like that because many people believe they need a large amount of free time before they can start.
Exactly. They say, I'm too busy today. I'll study English tomorrow when I have more time.
And then tomorrow becomes next week.
And next week becomes next month.
That happens very easily.
A better idea is to make English a small part of your normal day. You can listen to a short podcast while walking. You can read a few pages before sleeping. You can describe what you are doing in English while you cook.
So the goal is not to find a perfect study time. The goal is to connect English with the time you already have.
Exactly. Imagine you are making breakfast. Instead of thinking only in your first language, try saying simple English sentences in your mind.
I'm making coffee. The water is hot. I need a cup. I'm going to have breakfast.
Perfect. Those sentences are simple, but they train your brain to use English.
And you do not need a teacher standing next to you.
Right. Your daily life can become your English practice.
I think this is especially useful for people who say, I don't have anyone to speak English with.
Yes, having a conversation partner is helpful, but you can still practice speaking alone.
You can talk about your room, your plans, your work, your family, your food, or something you saw online.
You can even talk to yourself while you are walking.
Some people might think that looks strange.
Maybe. But if it helps you improve, who cares?
That is true. You are not trying to impress people. You are training a skill.
And this daily contact with English is powerful because your brain begins to see English as something normal, not something you only use during study time.
I think that is the key. English should become part of your life instead of being only another school subject.
Exactly. If you only study English on Saturday for 2 hours, you may forget a lot before the next Saturday.
But if you spend 15 minutes with English every day, your brain gets regular contact with the language.
And regular contact helps you remember vocabulary, sentence patterns, pronunciation, and common expressions.
So the first tip is not complicated. Use English every day, even if your practice is short.
And do not wait until you have a perfect schedule. Start with the time you already have.
If you have 10 minutes, use 10 minutes.
If you have 20 minutes, use 20 minutes.
And if you only have 5 minutes is still better than doing nothing.
The important thing is consistency. You are building a habit, and habits become stronger when you repeat them.
I really like that because learning a language is not one big action. It is thousands of small actions connected over time.
Exactly. One day of practice may not feel powerful, but hundreds of small days can completely change your English.
And once daily English becomes normal, the next question is how to make those minutes more useful.
Because simply spending time with English is good, but active practice can make that time much more valuable.
Yes, and there is a big difference between just seeing English and actually using it.
That difference is something every learner should understand. So let's stay with that idea and look more closely at how active practice can change the way you learn English, especially when you want to speak more naturally and with less hesitation. All right, now let's continue with the second important tip. If the first tip was to use English every day, the second tip is to stop being only a passive learner.
Passive learner? What does that mean?
It means you spend a lot of time reading or listening, but you do not use the English yourself.
So I might watch an English video for 30 minutes, understand most of it, and then close the video without saying anything.
Exactly. That is useful, but you can make it much more powerful by becoming active.
So tip number 2 is speak and use English actively.
Yes, do not only listen to English, try to produce English too.
But what if someone feels shy or does not have a speaking partner?
You can start alone. You can repeat sentences from a podcast, describe your day, answer questions aloud, or explain something you already know.
For example, I could say, "Today I woke up at 7. I had breakfast, checked my messages, and started work."
Exactly. You're taking information from your mind and turning it into English.
And if I make mistakes?
You will make mistakes. That is completely normal. Mistakes are part of speaking practice.
I think many learners wait until their English is perfect before they speak.
Yes, and that creates a difficult situation. You cannot become comfortable speaking if you never give yourself permission to speak.
So maybe confidence comes after practice, not before it.
Exactly. You do not need to feel confident before you start. You become more confident because you keep practicing.
That is an important difference.
Another useful activity is shadowing. You listen to a sentence and then repeat it, trying to copy the speaker's pronunciation, rhythm, and speed.
So if you hear, "I'm going to call my friend later," you pause and repeat, "I'm going to call my friend later."
Yes, do not worry about copying everything perfectly. Just try to follow the natural rhythm.
This can also help with pronunciation because you are hearing and speaking at the same time.
Exactly. You begin to notice how words connect in real speech.
And I think it can make English sound more natural in your own voice.
It can. Even 5 or 10 minutes of shadowing can be useful if you do it regularly.
So we have our second tip. Actively use English instead of only consuming English.
Yes, listen, but also speak. Read, but also create your own sentences.
And that leads naturally to tip number 3.
Tip number 3 is learn useful phrases, not only individual words.
That sounds simple, but it can really change the way someone learns vocabulary.
Think about it. If you learn the word decision, you know its meaning, but you may not know how to use it naturally.
But if you learn make a decision, you have a useful phrase ready to use.
Exactly. Instead of memorizing hundreds of separate words, learn words together with the expressions that commonly surround them.
For example, instead of only learning interested, learn I'm interested in.
Yes, or instead of only learning look, learn phrases like look for, look at, or look forward to.
That makes vocabulary more practical.
And it can also make speaking faster because you do not have to build every sentence word by word.
Your brain starts remembering common groups of words.
Exactly. Native speakers do this naturally. They often use familiar phrases without thinking about every individual word.
So when we learn phrases, we are giving our brain ready-made pieces of English.
That is a great way to describe it.
What is a good way to practice this?
Choose 5 useful phrases each day, not 50, just 5.
5 sounds manageable.
Then create your own sentences with them. If you learn, I'm looking forward to, you could say, I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Or I'm looking forward to meeting my friends.
Exactly. When you connect a phrase to your own life, it becomes easier to remember.
And maybe learners should use phrases that they actually need.
Yes. If you work in an office, learn phrases for meetings and emails. If you travel, learn phrases for airports, hotels, and restaurants.
If you want to make friends, learn phrases for introducing yourself and starting conversations.
Your vocabulary should match your real life whenever possible. That makes learning more interesting, too.
Definitely. You're not memorizing random words, you're collecting language that you can actually use.
And there's another important thing. Do not forget old phrases while learning new ones.
Very true. Review is just as important as learning.
Maybe you can review yesterday's 5 phrases before learning today's 5.
Exactly. That only takes a few minutes.
So now we have 3 strong ideas. Use English every day, actively speak and use it, and learn useful phrases instead of isolated words.
And all 3 work better when you focus on consistency rather than perfection.
You do not need to study for hours. You need to return to English regularly and actually use what you learn.
That is where many learners begin to see a difference. English slowly becomes less like something they're studying and more like something they're using.
And when that happens, speaking can start to feel much more natural.
There's still another important part of learning faster, though. Sometimes learners practice a lot, but they practice without knowing what they are doing well and what they need to improve.
Yes, and that is why noticing your progress can be just as important as practicing every day.
When you can see your improvement, you become more motivated to continue.
And when you know your weak areas, you can spend your time more wisely. So there's one more idea we need to explore: how to make your practice focused, useful, and connected to your real progress. Now let's talk about the 4th tip, because practicing English is much easier when you know what you are trying to improve.
So, tip number 4 is to focus on one skill at a time?
Yes, at least for part of your practice. English has many areas, including speaking, listening, pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, reading, and writing.
And sometimes learners try to improve all of them at the same time.
Exactly. They open a grammar book, watch a pronunciation video, memorize vocabulary, write an essay, and practice speaking all in one day.
That sounds exhausting.
It can be. A better approach is to choose one main goal for a short period of time.
For example, this week I want to improve my speaking.
Yes, then you can spend more of your English time speaking, repeating sentences, answering questions, and describing your daily life.
The next week, maybe you can focus more on listening.
Exactly. You can listen to short conversations and try to understand the main ideas and common expressions.
So you are still learning English as a whole, but you give special attention to one area.
Right. This can make your practice more organized and less stressful.
I also think learners should notice what they can already do.
That is extremely important. Many people only notice their mistakes.
They say, my pronunciation is bad, or I always forget words.
But they forget to notice the things they can now do that they could not do 6 months ago.
Maybe 6 months ago they could only introduce themselves, but now they can talk about their job for 5 minutes.
Exactly. That is real progress.
So another useful habit is to compare yourself with your past self, not with another learner.
Yes, someone else may speak faster than you, but that does not mean you're failing.
Everyone has a different starting point, different opportunities, and a different learning speed.
Your job is to keep improving your own English.
And maybe keeping a small progress record can help.
Definitely. You could record yourself speaking English once a month.
Then after 3 or 6 months, you can listen to the old recording.
And you may be surprised by the difference.
You might hear fewer pauses, better pronunciation, more vocabulary, or longer sentences.
Those small changes can give you motivation when you feel like you are not improving.
Now we have reached the 5th and final tip.
Yes, and this one may be the most important. Make English enjoyable.
I really like that one.
Learning a language takes time. If every minute feels like homework, it becomes difficult to continue for months and years.
So learners should find English content that they actually enjoy?
Exactly. If you like cooking, watch cooking videos in English.
If you enjoy travel, listen to travel stories.
If you like sports, follow sports conversations in English.
If you enjoy movies, watch simple scenes and repeat useful lines.
And if you enjoy podcasts, listen to podcasts that match your level and interests.
The important thing is that English becomes connected to something you already like.
Yes, when you enjoy the subject, you naturally want to spend more time with the language.
And more time with English means more opportunities to learn.
Exactly. You do not always need to force yourself.
Sometimes the best study session is the one you actually want to continue.
That is why entertainment can also become learning.
But should everything we watch be difficult?
No, in fact, if everything is too difficult, you may become frustrated.
So we should choose content that challenges us a little but is still understandable.
Yes, if you understand the general meaning and can learn some new expressions, that's a good level.
And you can watch the same video more than once.
Absolutely. The first time, focus on the meaning. The second time, notice vocabulary. The third time, repeat some sentences.
That sounds much more useful than watching 10 different videos quickly.
Exactly. Repetition is powerful.
So let's bring all 5 tips together.
Tip 1. Use English every day, even if you only have a few minutes.
Tip 2. Actively use English. Speak, repeat, describe, and create your own sentences.
Tip 3. Learn useful phrases instead of memorizing only individual words.
Tip 4. Focus your practice and pay attention to your progress.
And tip 5. Make English enjoyable by connecting it to things you genuinely like.
When you put these 5 ideas together, learning becomes much more realistic.
You do not need a perfect plan, an expensive course, or several free hours every day.
You need regular contact with English, active practice, useful language, focused goals, and something that keeps you interested.
And please remember that learning fast does not mean becoming fluent in a few days.
Exactly. There is no magic shortcut that can replace practice.
But you can make your learning faster by avoiding habits that waste your time and choosing activities that give you real practice.
And you can also be patient with yourself.
Some days you will feel that your English is improving quickly.
Other days, you may feel like you are not improving at all.
That does not mean you're going backward. Learning is not always easy to see.
Sometimes your brain is simply collecting information and building connections.
So keep going, even when progress feels slow.
And remember, small practice is still practice.
5 minutes of speaking is better than 5 minutes of worrying about your English.
10 useful phrases are better than 100 words you never use.
One short conversation can be more valuable than hours of passive study.
And 1 month of consistent practice can teach you more than one intense weekend followed by nothing.
So now, I want you to choose just one action from this episode. Maybe you will listen to English for 10 minutes every day.
Maybe you will speak to yourself in English while doing everyday activities.
Maybe you will learn 5 useful phrases and create your own sentences with them.
Maybe you will record yourself speaking and listen to your progress later.
Or maybe you will find an English podcast, video, or story that you genuinely enjoy.
You do not have to do everything today. Choose one thing and begin.
And once that habit becomes comfortable, you can add another one. That is how real progress grows, slowly, naturally, and consistently.
Before we finish, we want to give you a simple English practice sentence.
You can say, my English goal is blank, and today I will blank.
For example, my English goal is to speak more confidently, and today I will practice speaking for 10 minutes.
Or, my English goal is to understand conversations better, and today I will listen to one short podcast.
You can also write your sentence in the comments. It's a simple way to practice English and make your goal more real.
And when you write it, don't worry about making the sentence perfect, just try.
That's exactly what we've been talking about today. Use English, make mistakes, learn from them, keep going.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us here at Talk Sara English.
We hope these 5 tips help you make your English learning simpler, more active, and more enjoyable.
Remember, you do not need to become perfect. You just need to keep using English a little more each day.
Keep listening, keep speaking, keep learning, and most importantly, keep believing that you can improve.
We'll be happy to have you with us again in another calm and natural English conversation.
Take care, keep practicing, and see you in the next episode of Talk Sara English.